Queen Gertrude, salute. Welcome, Queen Gertrude. Salute, salute, salute. Welcome, welcome to the show this morning. And everyone else who are tuning in, either want to watch me live right now or who are going to catch the replay, salute and welcome to Motivational Monday. Um, to be honest with y'all, I out of all the shows that I do, now I honestly look forward to always doing motivational shows for y'all because that gives me the opportunity to share with y'all my perspective on different things that we deal with everyday life and give you some pointers to kind of help cope with that. And I believe that sometimes on YouTube we be lacking that, lacking motivating each other. Sometimes we be so focused on talking about problems that we necessarily don't ever focus on the solutions of the problem. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I do these motivational Monday shows to offer solutions to various situations that we deal with in our everyday life. Um, Today is no exception. Now, like I've been telling y'all at the beginning of 2023, um, 2023 is a year of boundaries, okay? Meaning that this is going to be the year where it is very vital. It is very, very important that we set boundaries for ourselves with, our relationships, whether it's intimate relationships, whether it's professional relationships, YouTube relationships, even relationship with your family, friends, children, and all that good old stuff. It is very vital for you to establish boundaries. Okay. So on this Motivational Monday, I want to take the opportunity to cover about this topic. I'm gonna give you the definition of what boundaries mean. I'm also going to details as far as how you could tell if you're lacking boundaries in your relationships, and I'm going to give you some solutions and some guidelines to set good boundaries for yourself. Okay, if you're ready for it, let's get it. Let's get it. Taylor May, salute, salute, welcome, welcome this morning. Now let's start with the definition of boundaries. Okay. Now on the screen right now it says this: boundaries or guidelines and expectations that we set in relationships. Boundaries help both parties understand how to behave, what behavior is acceptable, and what won't be tolerated. Okay. Once again, it is on guidelines and expectations that we set in relationships. Now, when they say in relationships, this means various relationships. It doesn't necessarily don't have to mean intimate relationships, but it can mean every type of relationship that you acquire in your life. Okay. Then it said boundaries help both parties understand how to behave, what behavior is acceptable, and what would not be tolerated. Okay. So in other words, both parties is basically setting the guidelines or setting the standards that, hey, okay, this is certain type of things that I'm going to put up with, or certain type of expectations that I'm going to put up with. If you cross these lines, so this expectation that I have set for myself, then I'm going to let you know about it. Simple, right? So let's go into even more details about this. All right. Let me share this with y'all too. That goes down. Miss Sandy, good morning. Salute. Now, boundaries do not automatically create distances, okay? Once again, boundaries do not automatically create distances. Boundaries first create structure in our relationship. And I want y'all to pay attention to the key word structure, okay? The reason why I'm emphasizing structure is because through my observation, I have noticed that a lot of us are lacking structure, period. And this is how I know that we're lacking structure because we allow people to just do whatever the hell they want to do in our relationship without having some type of structure in it. People could be disrespectful to you and you just allow it. People could do things to violate the relationship and you allow it. all these different type of things. And the reason why is because you lack structure in the relationship. And once again, this don't necessarily have to be for it's an intimate relationship, but it could be various relationships. For example, ladies who are tuned in right now, um, those of you who have children, right? Sometimes what happens with women and with children is that they allow their children to just be a little bit too loose. Okay, what I mean by that, sometimes women allow their children to, instead of them establishing that structure that I am the parent and you the child, sometimes women will transition their children into the point of them being their friends. I'm gonna say again, sometimes women will establish that point to having their children be their friends instead of them being their child. And so naturally, children, by them learning, right, they'll automatically cross this type of boundary thinking that they could say anything they want to say to you, do anything they could do to you. And the reason why is because you, as the mother, had established that boundary that they could cross, meaning that your children is equal to you. But I want to give you this reality right now, this reality check. Your children are not equal to you, okay? It had to be structure, especially for children being developed, okay? It had to be guidelines and structure to understand that there is a hierarchy in our culture, okay? And this is very important, especially when your children start growing up, when your children start going to school. And when your children get out of school, they go to either college or they start working into the workforce. They have to understand that it's a structure, there's a hierarchy. Okay. What happens if you don't set the structure? Typically, what happens when parents do not set this type of structure for their children is that it results in their children going to school, and this is where children be having this undesirable behavior at school where they mimic the same type of structure that they have in a household going to school. And this is the reason why the teachers will call you over and over again about your child. Mrs. So and so, you know that your child is doing X, Y, and Z, and they're doing this and that and that. And you're going through conferences after conferences after conferences, and you know good and well that these teachers, they don't want to tolerate dealing with your child. All they want to do is educate your child, period. They don't want to be a parent to your child. They just want to educate your child. Okay. And so what they would do, they would ultimately end up trying to set up programs for your child to determine that your child is a special needs child, that they need special attention, which in reality, they really don't need special attention. The reality is that they need structure, but that structure established in the beginning with you as the parent. And so that's why I'm telling you that there has to be a distinct difference behind that. You cannot treat your child as your equal, as your friend, as your confidant, especially while that child is developing and learning and that child is mimicking behavior that you the parent is establishing. Likewise, in everything else in life is still too, like I stated before, there's a certain hierarchy that we all have to abide by. Unfortunately, is what it is. This is the reason why there are certain laws that are established in our culture right now for this hierarchy because it's a certain structure that you have to abide by. But if you don't understand that structure, if you don't understand certain boundaries, then you just do whatever the hell that you want to do, thinking that it's okay. Just imagine this. I want to give y'all this point too. Just imagine this too. Imagine if our culture in our society didn't have a structure which is known as laws to abide by. Imagine if we didn't have that type of structure, right? Imagine how our society would be. You guess it. People would be doing whatever the hell they want when they want. It'll be the exact equivalency of watching what's the name of that movie? God dang it. That movie War 1. They allow people to kill people for 24 hours. That movie, y'all know what I'm talking about. But it would be exactly just like that. With no structure, no laws, no boundaries. People could do whatever the hell they want when they want. Yeah, the prayers, appreciate it. Appreciate it, bro. Salute to you. People could do whatever they want when they want. That's why it's very vital and it's very important that we develop boundaries and have structures in our relationship, whether it's intimate relationships, whether it's dealing with professional relationships, family and friends. There should be boundaries as well too, and structure. Y'all get what I'm saying? Let me show y'all this on other point as well too. Now, um, I think I shared. Did I already share this? I think I did. Let me see. Drop that. Yeah, I did. I did. My bad, y'all. My bad. I already shared that. So let me drop this one. We're gonna get to the next point too, because I don't want to be too long with y'all. All right. So here's another point that I want to make as well too. Lady Fresh, salute, welcome. Um, here's another point I want to make about boundaries as well too. It says this: boundaries aren't about trying to control someone or make them change. Once again, boundaries aren't about trying to control someone or to make them change. I'm saying one more again. Boundaries aren't about trying to control someone or to make them change. The reason why I keep re-emphasizing this is because I want y'all to understand, especially ladies and dudes, is that you cannot control someone. Because when you step into that area of trying to manipulate people, trying to control people, guess what's going to happen? You're going to start developing that narcissistic personality disorder. Okay. But however, boundaries are about establishing how you want to be treated. Self preservation in a chaotic or dangerous environment and a path to healthy relationships. That is what boundaries is all about. It is about you establishing within yourself how the way you want to be treated. But however, in order for that to happen, right? In order for this to happen, in order for you to establish boundaries with people, right? It is very vital and is very, 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 very important for you to set boundaries for yourself first. That's where it starts. It is impossible for you to have the expectation to set boundaries for people, but you don't even have boundaries for your own self. You don't even have any self control or discipline for yourself. You don't even have no structure for yourself. So if you don't have that or you lacking that, how in the hell do you think people are going to conform to your standards and expectation? And this goes into what I was saying earlier about people developing narcissistic personality disorders is for the simple fact that they don't even have boundaries. They don't even have structure. They have this weird expectation that things supposed to be how the way they want it to be. They want to control it. And to be honest, that is not healthy at all. Period. So in order for boundaries and structures to be to be set, It starts with you, the individual. So let me ask y'all this question. How many of y'all have took the opportunity to set boundaries for yourself? Now I know it been talks out here, well, especially in 2023, New Year, that people say New Year, new me and stuff, right? Which is fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But also people was talking about, they want to do something different. Nothing wrong with that. But once again, my question is that how many of you have took the time out to do self-care for yourself, to self-evaluate yourself, to see have you established any type of boundaries even within yourself, any type of rules or guidelines or moral compasses that you have personally set for yourself, and you are abiding by that no matter what. Now, those of y'all who've been following my content right throughout 2022, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be talking about it in 2023 as well too. And I've been talking a lot about moral compasses and stuff, right? And also, I let people know that I have established my own personal moral compass that I abide by. Nothing more, nothing less. And I don't allow people to overstep the boundaries or even my moral compasses that I have established for myself. No matter how the way people feel about it, no matter people saying that I'm weak or whatever based on their viewpoint or whatever, I don't care because it is my personal moral compass that I have established for myself. In other words, I have established a certain boundaries that I have for myself. There are certain things that I will not cross, period. No matter how tough the situation is, no matter if people are talking about me or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I will always abide by my moral compass. And I just want to ask y'all this as well too. How many of y'all honestly have moral compasses in your life that you have set for yourself? And I'm not talking about just some of us, we have like religion and stuff, right? Which is nothing wrong with religion. But religion should be the guidance and stuff, right? Um, Give me one moment, y'all. Hold on. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that. But religion should be a guidance, you know what I'm saying, to help you develop your personal moral compass. That's what it should be. Religion or spirituality, rather. It should be a guidance to help you establish your own personal moral compass. So that's why I say there's nothing wrong with it, you know what I'm saying, as long as you understand the reasoning for it, you know what I'm saying? So let me show y'all this as well too. Now, once again, like I stated earlier, or stuff, right? There are different type of boundaries in relationship. Now, boundaries there are financial boundaries, there are physical and sexual boundaries. There are boundaries to protect your time, boundaries for your families, boundaries for texting, boundaries for privacy, boundaries for exes, boundaries for your mental health, religious and spiritual boundaries. There are boundaries on how to communicate effectively and boundaries for how you deserve to be treated, and last but not least, boundaries for equality. All right. Now, here are some signs that I want y'all to pay attention to real closely to determine if you're lacking boundaries. Okay. Now, if you have to, You could either you could like pause this live and you could write this down if you desire to do that, or you could go back later and pause it. And if you want to write this down, by all means write it down, because I feel that this is very vital and it's very important for you and for your personal development, especially dealing with boundaries. Okay, so we're gonna I'm gonna read through this. We're gonna go through this. All right. So first of all, 10 signs you're lacking personal boundaries. Okay. Number one says this: you fail to speak up when being mistreated. Number two says this: you give away too much of your time. You agree when you actually feel like disagreeing. You feel guilty for dedicating time to yourself. You feel taken for granted by others. You have toxic relationships. You have chronic fear about what others think of you. You overshare details about your life with others. You constantly feel like the victim. And last but not least, you attract people who try to control or dominate you. Now, those of y'all who've been paying attention to my shows lately, I've been covering a lot about dealing with beta males, and I also been talking a lot about the modern day woman and their behavior too and stuff. Right? I've been talking a lot about that, and there's a reason behind that. You know what I'm saying? When I'm having these conversations and stuff, right? Um, I'm talking about this is because my whole end goal is for people to see the errors in their ways, and they have the opportunity to choose to change. Because I believe some people have been so programmed to be a certain way, right? That they don't even realize that the way that they're living is toxic. That they don't realize their mentality is toxic as well too. So the whole goal of me talking about this, and I ain't for me just to be messy and be mean and all the stuff there, but it's for me to talk about the situation, talk about the behavior, and the whole point of changing it. This is the reason why I've been talking about Ellie So. This is the reason why I just did a show talking about Lizzo, and I'm gonna be doing other shows talking about various people as well too, who resemble the same type of situations and behavior. And the reason why is because I could tell just by the way they are, how the way they present themselves, that they're lacking personal boundaries within themselves. So yes, it is a method behind the madness of what I do. Okay. So here's another chart too. Once again, y'all can either pause this, and you can pause this and you can just write this information down. This for you to help develop you. Okay. But this is just a chart talking about healthy versus unhealthy boundaries and stuff, right? One side it shows the healthy boundaries and relationship. The other side it shows unhealthy boundaries. Okay, and I guarantee that many of us is experiencing a lot of this. Okay, I guarantee that. So I'm not going to go into full detail about this because I want you to take the time out to me. If you're really interested into finding out more about setting boundaries with yourself, then by all means pause this and read this. If you got to screenshot it, whatever you got to do what you got to do so you can understand this. Okay. All right. Now this is more of a smaller chart. Okay, am going to talk about this. All right. Now here's a smaller chart to how you could set healthy boundaries. Okay. Now here it is. How to set healthy boundaries. Understand why healthy boundaries are important. Stick to your boundaries and remain consistent. Decide what you want. Focus on yourself when voicing a boundary. Examine existing boundaries. And notice this, that this is capitalized, all caps, communicate. And I want to add on, have effective communication. Keep your boundaries simple. Boundaries may vary from different parts of your life. Absolutely take it slowly. Recognize or respect others' boundaries. Set reasonable consequences. And last but not least, use common sense. Now, this is my final point that I'm going to want to make today on this Motivational Monday. All right. Once again, this is talking about ways to set boundaries. Okay. And the only difference between this chart and the other chart that I showed you is that this is dealing with old relationship versus new relationships, meaning that if you're currently in a type of relationship, whether it's an intimate relationship, whatever the case may be, um, the left side of the chart will apply to you. Now, if you're trying to establish new relationships, right, then the right side of the chart will apply to you. If you're trying to establish both old and new relationships, then both the sides of the chart will apply to you. So once again, I would like for y'all to, you can either pause this video or you screenshot it, wherever you could do. Get this information down because it's very vital and it's very important for your development. Okay. So in the old relationship, it say identify what boundaries you would like to set. Be direct about your boundaries. Don't explain yourself. Be consistent with your boundaries. Have a conversation with them about your boundaries and consequences for not respecting your boundaries. Now, in the new relationship, mention boundaries casually in conversations as you are getting to know people. That way, you won't be oversharing too much. All right. Because that's something that will people do as well too. That sometimes they tend to overshare a lot, and that's the reason why I've been getting on Ellie Soul about this. Is because when she do get on and do these different things to right, she tend to overshare too much information where people don't need to know all that. And when she overshare that, that tip to me, that is a telltale sign that a person is playing the victim. All right. But have an open discussion about boundaries that are important to you. Be clear about your expectations, and last but not least, in the moment of a boundary violation, state the boundary and let the other person know how you will handle the situation in the future. Now, this whole motivational Monday goal is for me to share with y'all the meaning about setting boundaries, showing with y'all how vital it's important for you to have boundaries, and show you areas where you're lacking boundaries and to educate you on how ways you can set boundaries in your life.